does he smile and shake their hands like that?
Because it takes courage to change people's hearts.
What are you doing?
A letter.
May I? Dear Dolores, sometimes you remind me of a house. You know this is pathetic, right? Put this down. The distance between us is breaking my spirit. Falling in love with you
Was the easiest thing I have ever done. P.S. Kiss the kids.
That's like clanging a cowbell at the end of Shostakovich's The Seven.
That's good.
It's perfect, Tony.
Come on, get out now.
You never win with violence. You only win when you maintain your dignity.
You don't know your own people. You, Mr. Big Shot, doing concerts for rich people.
So if I'm not black enough, and if I'm not white enough, then tell me, Tony, what am I?
Won't you call me?
Anyone can sound like Beethoven. But your music, what you do, only you can do that.
Alright, so let's get the big question out of the way early. Should Green Book have won Best Picture at the Oscars? No. Not when it was up against movies like Black Panther, A Star is Born, The Favourite, Bohemian Rhapsody. That was seriously a strong year for nominees. But, and this is really important, winning Best Picture isn't always about the best movie. It's about a voting system, it's about campaigning, marketing, industry politics, studio lobbying, all the behind the scenes stuff that we don't really see as movie fans. So, yes, Green Book winning Best Picture sparked a lot of debate, but does that automatically make it a bad movie? Absolutely not. In fact, I'd go as far as saying Green Book is a must-see. Before watching this film, I didn't even know what the title Green Book was referring to. The Green Book was a real travel guide created for Black Americans, listing safe places to eat, sleep, and travel during segregation in the United States. That context alone gives the film an immediate sense of importance. The one thing I appreciate, though, is that the film doesn't lecture you. It lets you experience that history alongside the characters. There's a moment in the film that really stuck with me. Dr. Shirley is denied access to the dining room of a venue, the very same place where he's about to perform in front of wealthy guests. He's not allowed to eat there, not because of anything he's done, but purely because of the colour of his skin. That moment angered me. It's hard to watch something so blatantly wrong and not feel it. And it's not just that scene, there are several moments like this throughout the movie, quiet moments of unfair treatment that hit hard because of how normalized they are. He's celebrated on stage, but once he steps off, he's stripped of basic dignity. Those scenes stayed with me far more than any big dramatic speech. At the center of the film are the two leads, Mahershala Ali as Don Shirley and Viggo Mortensen as Tony Lip, and they are both phenomenal. On paper, they couldn't be more different. Don Shirley is refined, educated, emotionally guarded. Tony Lip is loud, rough, and very much a product of his environment. And early on, you absolutely feel that clash. But what makes the film work is watching their relationship slowly evolve as they travel through the Deep South. There's awkwardness, tension, ignorance, and mistrust, and none of it disappears overnight. They learn from each other, they challenge each other, and importantly, they both grow. Mahershala Ali delivers a restrained, dignified performance. There's a deep sense of loneliness beneath the surface, and he conveys it without ever overplaying it. Viggo Mortensen completely disappears as Tony Lip. From the voice, the posture, to the attitude, he feels lived in and authentic. Now, I do want to briefly address One of the biggest criticisms people often raise about this film, you'll often hear Green Book described as a white savior movie. And if that term is unfamiliar, it usually refers to stories where a white character is positioned as the hero who swoops in, fixes everything, and rescues a marginalized character. For me, that's not what this film is doing. Tony Lip doesn't save Don Shirley, he doesn't fix racism, and he doesn't suddenly become a flawless person. And Don Shirley isn't just there to teach Tony a moral lesson either. They both confront their flaws, they both change, and they both end the film as more self-aware people than when they started. The growth is mutual, and that's why the white savior label doesn't quite fit here, at least in my opinion. Now, does the film ever feel predictable? Yeah, at times it does. You can often sense where certain emotional beats are heading. You know the friendship is going to deepen. You know walls will come down. And if you've seen a few road trip dramas before, the structure won't surprise you at all. But I don't think predictability is always a bad thing. Sometimes it's less about what happens and more about how it's handled. And Green Book tells its story with warmth, sincerity, and just enough humour to keep it engaging. And yes, this film is very funny at times. Not laugh-out-loud comedy, but warm, character-driven humour that comes naturally from the contrast between these two men. The humour makes the heavier moments hit even harder. Another thing that genuinely surprised me is who directed this film. Peter Farrelly, the same guy behind There's Something About Mary, Shallow Hal, and Hall Pass. This isn't what you'd expect from him at all, but credit where it's due. He approaches the material with care, the film is accessible, it's safe, and it knows exactly what kind of story it wants to tell. By the time we reach the final moments when Don joins Tony and his family for dinner, it gives you that warm feeling in your chest. It feels earned, it feels human, and it feels hopeful. So no, Green Book should not have won Best Picture. But that doesn't mean it isn't a great movie, because it is. I'm giving Green Book a 4.5 out of 5. I really enjoyed this movie. It doesn't reinvent the genre, and it doesn't claim to solve huge societal issues, but it's powerful, entertaining, and absolutely worth your time. If you've enjoyed this review, don't forget to like, subscribe, and check back for weekly movie reviews. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.